Hey, everybody, welcome back to another episode of FSI DFS Fantasy NFL Picks. I'm your host, Megaroar31. Sorry for the lateness of the video. A couple technical difficulties here, so no cameras, but we'll just keep on going. So, no London game today, finally. We do have three teams on bye, so a little bit of a smaller slate today, a little less selection, some injuries and stuff, but still a decent slate, and there's money out there to be made, so let's go over things. But first, just to remind you, we've got a bunch of other things going on in FSI DFS. Not only do we these NFL videos, we usually do Monday and Thursday football videos. Also, McKinley's been doing hockey from Monday through Friday. Also, and NASCAR should have the Cup video coming out today also. So we got that going on, PGA. And NBA starting up this week. So check out our X, formerly known as Twitter account, for information on that. So a couple weather concerns here, some wind in the Giants and Washington game, in the Bills and Patriots game, and in the Ravens and Detroit game. Little around like 15 miles per hour. Sometimes some of them are gusting a little bit more. So it's just something definitely to be conscious of. Pretty much Washington and the Giants has sustained winds of 15 and 20 miles per hour with gusts of 25 to 50. So, I mean, that would be interesting for the passing game there. And it looks like it's a little bit less for in New England. It's sustained winds of 10 to 15 with gusts to 20 to 25. And then Detroit and Baltimore is almost the same as the Giants. It's this front that's going up the East Coast. So sustained winds is 15 to 20 with gusts of 25 to 30 miles per hour. So could affect the passing game a little bit, but I think still like shorter passing could definitely be okay in some of those situations. But we'll talk about them as we go. So first up here, we have the Giants and the Commanders. 37.5 total, 3-point spread. Really not looking at too much from this game. The Washington side, if you want to play Sam Howell, that's fine. He gets sacked a lot. He can make some plays. The Giants don't have the greatest defense. From this one here, I think I just take Brian Robinson as running back, potentially. Maybe Curtis Samuel as a cheap wide receiver and Logan Thomas, but not too many parts I want, just maybe cheap fill-ins and GPPs. And Washington defense is definitely in play, and you can play that in cash or GPP. Giants side, Barkley, if you think he's back. We don't know if it's going to be Taylor or Jones here. It's probably leaning going to be Tyrod Taylor. Some nice cheap wide receivers here. Slayton and Wendell Robinson have definitely risen above the rest of the noise here between the six wide receivers as the ones that definitely seem to be getting the target share. And they're pretty reasonable price-wise, which is nice. So if you need a cheap fill-in in cash that has some floor, even with the wind, if they're probably going to be shorter passes, you're talking wide receivers that are in the range of like 3.7 and 3.8 for you. Waller tight ends usually in play also, but there's a lot of other better tight end plays I think this week. And the Giants defense I would definitely consider. So Washington and Giants defense are both, I think, the best buy plays. I wouldn't pair a running back like I usually do if I use the Giants defense. I don't think that works. But if you get to the range for your running back for Brian Robinson, then that pairing works well for you. This game could be really ugly. Raiders and Bears here. We got two backup quarterbacks going on. We got 37.5 total. I don't know where those points are coming from. Brian Hoyer will be starting for the Raiders. We thought it might be the rookie. He might still get a start, so I don't know if Hoyer's even safe, because if he wasn't good enough, as he was second string, even healthy last time that they needed to have the backup play the game, and they had O'Connell come out who did okay. So if you want to be really cheeky in a GPP for like a buck or something. If you want to play O'Connell and hope that Hoyer goes out there the first couple series and does absolutely nothing, gets yanked right away, and then O'Connell comes in and saves the day and throws like 4 touchdown passes and 300 yards. That's possible. So Jacobs, I think, definitely is probably where the offense is going to come here. I'm hesitant to play him because he's been in big spots a lot this season and really hasn't produced. But that could just be a result not of him as a player, but as a play calling. I mean, his highest week on DK was against the Chargers that he had 27 points, but last couple of weeks, like he had one week that against Green Bay it was almost 20, but every other week has been like 9 to 11 points for 4 of the weeks. So I don't know. Jury's out on him for me. Adams, I think he's still dealing with an injury, so I like Myers here. And then Mayer, the tight end, is a really cheap option for you too. If you are trying to save some money here, or maybe even play if you're playing like Kelsey in your tight end spot and you need a cheap flex option, he should definitely get some points. That dude scores a touchdown at 2.7. I mean, that's just absolutely golden. But at 2.7, you only need a couple of catches and a few yards just to even make value for you. Bears side with Fields out with the broken thumb or banged up thumb or whatever. Tyson Bagent is going to be the starting quarterback. So I'm not too excited there. Deontay Foreman, I mean, he had all the share. All the other running backs are banged up and out. So I mean, he's got an opportunity to get you maybe 10 to a dozen DK points there, but he doesn't really catch the ball. It's just going to be pure rushing. And the Raiders aren't great against the run. So, could work out. So at 4.8, I think is definitely in the conversation. I don't really think I want to play any of these Bears wide receivers or maybe connect with a younger quarterback. Sometimes tight ends work, but like I just don't know how the ball is going to be spread out, what they're going to do for the offense, if they're going to be able to do anything. So I think I just completely avoid this. Raiders defense does become interesting also here with like the Bears just being completely neutered with like loss of Fields and just not being good overall this season and not knowing where things are going. So I think they're definitely in play there. And if you want to pair them with Jacobs as a running back, if you think they're just going to run things out, then that's fine. But I mean, it could be Zamir White or Abdullah running things towards the end of if it's a complete blowout too. So I don't even know if like Jacobs is going to be getting fed the ball in garbage time or not. So what's going to go on there? Bills and Patriots, 40.5 total, 7.5 favorite for Buffalo. Like New England's look horrible. This should be a blowout, but you do have the wind there in New England. Josh Allen, he's dealing with a shoulder issue. I think he's going to play. Not sure how good he's going to be. He hasn't been running as much this year. So I know it's Josh Allen, but for cash, I'm fading him. I just can't do it. There's so many other better plays in this price range that have so much more upside. There's complete GPP. This running back situation is really frustrating because I have Cook on my season-long team. Latavius Murray started last week, and it's pretty much seemed like a complete 50-50 timeshare there. So I don't even know. And Latavius Murray was like the goal line back too when they got down there. So I don't know what to do with these two. I don't think I'm playing either one of them until something more clear pops up. Wide receivers, I mean, Diggs is always in play. Gabe Davis is more deep threat, but I don't really think, it's gonna be hard with like the wind there to overthrow, or if you're throwing in the wind, it might be throwing short. So I don't know and these like Shakir and Sheffield and Hardy, like the other wide receivers, you think, if Allen's, we talk about this with the Raiders, if Allen's arm is hurting him, then maybe he's not going to be throwing that far down the field. But I think that bodes better for like Knox and Kincaid, which both are back, which again is annoying because you don't know how they're going to go. It's like Kincaid's been used more in like a slot wide receiver, like a wide receiver 3, so he gets the coverage, so he can't take the advantage of tight end with a mismatch because he's getting covered as if he's a wide receiver. And then Knox is more the traditional tight end, but it's just really annoying. So I mean, if you can figure out the Buffalo receiving code here, then good luck to you. But I don't think I'm going to have many shares of Buffalo, and nothing in cash, and maybe in GPP. On the other side, Mac Jones has just been a horrible quarterback this season. Um, I think Bill Belichick is, and out of pride, is just kind of locked into him because he's the one that he wanted here. And Stevenson just has been disappointing. Ezekiel Elliott is there, but really hasn't done much. Bourne maybe as a wide receiver if you are stacking this game to run it back with. And Parker showed some life, but again, with the wind, Mac Jones has not been accurate. Hunter Henry's banged up. Gesicki, plays some tight end also, and it's just a mess. Defense wise, I think Buffalo is definitely in play if you want to pay up for a defense. But then, I like, again, in situations like this, if it's going to be a dominating defense, I like pairing with a running back for like them to run out the clock. But is it going to be Cook? Is it going to be Murray? I don't know. So, I mean, that's a hard call there. Browns and Colts 40.5 total. Cleveland favored by 3.5. Looks like Deshaun Watson might be back, but again, I don't know if I'm gonna play him if he is. Ford, I think, is a solid play in cash here. Hunt's banged up, so we don't know if he's going to be playing or not. Wide receiver wise, if Watson is back, I think you can go with Amari Cooper. He seems to benefit from Watson more. As I always said, they run like gadget plays and stuff for him. It's 4.2, but I like the Giants wide receivers a bit cheaper over him. I think there's more upside there. Njoku, tight ends, okay. Cleveland has a really good defense, so I think you can, against Gardner Minshew, I think they're in play also, and Ford and Cleveland defense is a decent pairing also. Minshew, I mean, he's exciting and everything, but I just don't think there's the upside there. This backfield situation, I don't know how to take it with Taylor and Moss. Could be Taylor, could be Moss, could be both, could be neither. Wide receiver wise, really not. Cleveland just has such a good defense and pass rush. I don't know if Pittman's or Downs are worth playing in the tight end situation. Not interested either. Their main guys out, so it's like Ogletree, Mo, Ali Cox, and Will Malroy. I don't think any of them maybe break 5 DK points. So, and even the Colts defense, I'm not interested there either. So very little from this game besides like maybe Ford and the Cleveland defense that I'm maybe Amari Cooper that I consider in cash games. Falcons and Buccaneers, 37.5 total here, 2-point favorite for Tampa Bay. Again, low total here, nothing really jumping out. Atlanta's definitely a run first offense. So if you want to play Ritter and have like the run upside with some passing, that's fine. Bijan Robinson, I just think is overpriced. They don't use them, and they use Algier way more than they should. Drake London has gotten better over the last couple of weeks, so I think you can consider him. He's not priced too bad at 5-1. Kyle Pitts seems to be figuring things out, but Jonnu Smith is lingering there also. Atlanta defense, I have no interest in. Buccaneer side, Baker Mayfield, I think you can do that in cash. Like, he's been a decent quarterback in this system. Rashad White, I just kind of worry about. It seems like he's been losing touches to Vaughn and Tucker there in the backfield. So where he should have been like the bell cow and just getting like carry after carry, but we'll see. Coming off a bye week, maybe they change things up in the playbook. Evans and Godwin should be solid options in cash, and Cade Otton. I was last week, like, oh yeah, they did play last week, so they weren't on bye. It was bye the week before that. But last week, like, they're just so frustrating because I was like sniffing 10K in a FanDuel contest, and I had Auden was like my last guy going, and they threw that touchdown pass to him and just overthrew him. If he caught that, it would be beautiful. And then the New England went up and gave up the safety to the Raiders, and then that dropped me from like winning thousands down to hundreds. I mean, it's still a good day overall, but it's just kind of funny that I really thought like Cade Otton, and then you get so pumped, so excited, so tilted there, and you see the ball going in his direction, and then it just sails over his hands, and you're like, oh man. But good day overall. Still can't complain, and hopefully, you know what I'm talking about. And if not, one day, hopefully, you'll be in that situation too, where you've got like a lot of money, potentially, and it's just one play, and hopefully, it works out better for you than it did for me. But on to the next game, Lions and Ravens. Like this game, and probably my third favorite one of the week, 43.5 total. Baltimore's favored by 3. Again, there's a wind in this, but I think you can still look at the passing game here. I think Goff's definitely in play. On the Detroit side, Gibbs should have good share of it. Should be a close game. So Gibbs might not be getting like a ton of carries out of the backfield, but he should be getting some catches. They might Reynolds might be taking more of that role. I have to continue to watch the injury on him. I mean, if he's out, then definitely maybe lean even more on Gibbs, because Montgomery's completely out. Pass catching, St. Brown, I think is in play. I think he's definitely come back from the injury. There's Jameson Williams is there also as a deep threat. So if in a GPP for 3.8, if you're stacking this game, if you want to throw him in there, again, with the wind, it's kind of a risky play. And then Josh Reynolds is there also. So between all of them, I think there you got a decent receiving core. But if I was pairing someone with Goff, it'd be definitely St. Brown, and Laporta, tight end, still in there also. Detroit defense, I think they're maybe in play. I don't think they're going to make like my top 10 defenses that I play, but Lamar can be turnover prone, and Baltimore's offense can completely fall asleep at times. So definitely something to consider. On the Baltimore side, Lamar Jackson, I think you can always play him. He's got the run upside and everything. Nice pivot off Mahomes in the price range there. The running back situation, like Lamar is usually the goal line back. You have Gus Edwards and Hill catching things out of the backfield, but you don't know who's going to be deployed and what role at what time. So I'd usually just try to stay away from it. Zay Flowers has really separated himself from Bateman, Algahar, and Odell Beckham Jr., and even Duvernay as like the lead wide receiver here. So I think he's definitely somebody you consider at 5.7. Even in cash, I think he's going to have enough targets and enough upside here, even with the wind, to be viable. And then Mark Andrews is there, and it seems like Flowers might be pushing Andrews as like the favorite target here. So I think Andrews is still definitely in play. And again, nice pivot off Kelsey. And if a lot of people it's very expensive to pair Mahomes and Kelsey. It's much cheaper to pair like Lamar and Andrews. But if I was stacking this game, as you can see on the bottom, I'd probably go Goff, St. Brown's, and then run it back with Andrews on that side for Mark Andrews, the tight end. Baltimore defense, not really interested in too much. Arizona and Seattle, 44.5 total here. Another nice game, but it's an 8.5 spread. Seattle should be blowing them out. And I hesitated to put a game in my top 5 games last week, and it was a Miami game. But then Jesse, one of another coach here at FSI, helped me out with that and said, just play Miami. We did, and that was actually most of the players that I had in that lineup that was fighting for the 10K. So thought, okay, it's kind of the same situation here. Maybe Arizona keeps it closer, or maybe, just go all Seattle here and don't run it back with anything. But on the Seattle side, I mean, Dobbs, if you want to play him, it's more GPP play. Don't know what to do with this backfield situation. We thought it was going to be Darmakato last week, and then Ingram was the starter. Nobody really did a lot. You have Damian Williams in the back there also. So I don't think I'm touching this. There's so many other better situations out there in the slate. Marquise Brown, I think you can always throw out there. And I think I'm coming off of Zach Ertz. I wasn't super excited playing him, but Trey McBride seems to be almost stepping up and supplanting him. And he's only 2.6, so he's definitely somebody that I'm fine with in cash, or even if you're trying to get some plays, like if you're going double tight end with Kelsey, throwing him in your utility might work. I think a lot of people will do that with like Mayer from Las Vegas, but if you can't get there quite, McBride might be a nice pivot in that situation. Arizona defense in no way not playing them. So Seattle, Geno Smith definitely in play. Walker, I see a lot of people talking about him being like the chalk this week potentially, with Charbonnet being potentially injured, or even if he's there, it seems like Walker's the man. Just don't catch a lot of balls for DK. For FanDuel, I like the play. And DK, I don't know if I will like it as much, but I definitely have some shares of him. Metcalf, we'll have to see if he plays. If not, Jackson Smith Najigba is definitely going to be a huge play and very popular. So, make sure you set up your lineup to have a couple spots that you can late swap if you play Metcalf, and then you can switch him to him and then to Najigba, and then maybe move another player up. So just play around with that, like build the lineup with Metcalf and another guy from like the late window, and then put in Najigba, and then maybe Metcalf's in your utility, and then see who in the 4 o'clock game is left, so you can make sure that you have a combination that you can use to play there. But Lockett, I like him. He's been solid, especially in the red zone. So out of all of them, I think, if I'm playing just one paired with Smith, I go with Lockett. But, if you want to double stack it, I get that. Tight end, I'm not super interested in, but in Seattle defense, I think are definitely in play here, especially paired with Walker. Works nice if Arizona reverts back to their going for the number 1 pick form. Steelers and Rams, 43.5 total, which is probably my 4th favorite game here. I don't know if it's going to be this close. I think that the Rams should be able to pull away, but it's a nice game and indoors. Pickett's been hit or miss. I don't think I'm playing him. Najee Harris and Jalen Warren. I think I played Warren over Harris. I mean, they're $200 apart now, and it's pretty much a split 50-50, it seems. So don't know which one's really going to have the upside there. So not going to touch that. Pickens has been good, but Deontay Johnson is back. I think you'll see Pickens be like more of the deep threat, and Deontay Johnson be more of the possession receiver. So I really like Deontay Johnson here. Not playing Allen Robinson. I think he's going to kind of fade away into the background now with those 2 wide receivers back. Freiermuth is still out, so Connor Haywood probably going to be the lead tight end. Not super interested there. I think it's going to probably just go more to the wide receivers. And Pittsburgh defense is good, but not one that I consider in this week. The Rams here, Stafford, I think is definitely in play. Definitely like him in cash. Running back situation with Williams out on IR. I've seen some that say it's going to be Zach Evans. I've seen some say it's going to be Freeman. They brought Henderson back into the mix. So again, this is just another quagmire that I don't feel like I want to try to wade through. Again, if you correctly pick it's like playing like the Powerball or like a scratch up lottery ticket. If you get the right one, you might win big, but if not, then you wasted your money. So I'm not going to try to pick who I like here. I think the passing games where we want to be. Kupp and Nakua are definitely in play. Atwell is still a deep threat, but I just think with like both Kupp and Nakua back, or with Kupp back and Nakua there healthy, I just think that again he's turns into the same thing as the running back situation. It's just too volatile to play. And Higbee, I think, is at 3-7 is another good way to get exposure to this game. So stacking wise, take Stafford as a quarterback, Kupp or Nakua, and then run it back with Deontay Johnson. Game of the week should be for the early. The game of the week is probably going to be the Dolphins and Eagles, but the game of the week for this main slate is the Chargers and the Chiefs here. They've always, division rivals, always played each other close. I know it's a 5.5 spread, 45.5 total here, but I like both sides. Like you can go Herbert or Mahomes, running back, Eckler or Pacheco. I like both of them there. Wide receivers, Allen, Josh Palmer. KC side, I think Rice has done enough. Sky Moore's there. He just had so much potential. It just hasn't done anything. Marquise Valdez-Scantling, MVS, just really hasn't done much. Like he'll have a catch here or there. I mean, he'll catch a touchdown like 1 or 2 games during the season, but other than that, Tony, they try to continue to come up with like gadget plays and reverses and stuff, but it's just nothing. It's like solid there. So in cash, like I don't know if I play any of these, even if I'm playing Mahomes, but in GPP, I pair Rice with him. And for tight ends, Everett, I think I'm okay with. Obviously, Kelsey's in play. Um, Defense wise, I wouldn't really play either one of them because I think this is definitely be a high scoring game. So I think there's a lot of nice pieces there that a lot of people are going to play and is going to have some decent ownership. And then the final game, which is number 2 game I have of the week, should be a close one. It says, but I think Green Bay should dominate this one. The Broncos have just looked bad. 45 total here. Love the Packers. I think they're definitely where you want to go in cash. Jordan Love is probably going to be the highest owned quarterback potentially, if Mahomes isn't here. Aaron Jones is back. He's okay. I don't really I want to see how healthy he is. Like he still has been put the questionable tag on him, and even if he's out, I just don't know if AJ Dillon's really the answer there. But I think Jones will play, and I think it's just another running back situation where you just really don't know what to do with it. But wide receiver Watson and definitely play Dubes is there also. If you want to pivot off him, Musgrave at tight end should definitely be in play, and even having Watson back, and it seems to have helped him more than to have hurt him. So I think there's definitely this Denver pass rush is horrible. The Denver passing defense is horrible. Some of these guys should have some big games. I think it's going to be Love, Watson, Musgrave, and Dubes are the ones that I'm going to look at. Running back on their side, Russell Wilson. I just can't do it. GPP maybe. I have him in my pool as a cheap play potentially for cash, but like Watson's only $400 more. Just do that. Running back situation. Williams is back, but it's still kind of muddy there. He should be the lead back, and it could be a sneaky play here, but I don't think I'm gonna try it this week. I'd look for a better matchup there. For the wide receivers, if you want to run back like Sutton or Judy, they're pretty even here, but I think it'd be leaning like Sutton. Both of them have like you can make a case for either one of them. I'm not really playing any of the other wide receivers, and until Dulcich gets back at tight end, I'm not looking at Troutman. He's more of a blocking back. So that is team by team rundown. If we look by position, as I said, if you're paying up, I like Holmes, Lamar, or Herbert. In the medium range, I think Smith from the Seahawks is really good play, or Love might. I think maybe I put Love above him there, and then Stafford also in that game against Pittsburgh. Just with those wide receivers back, they're starting to look like the Rams a couple of years ago that won the Super Bowl. Getting some nice pieces, getting healthier, and heading in the right direction. Cheap, like I said, Russell Wilson. I'd probably just pay up a couple more $100 for Love in that case, but if you want to be a little different, then that's fine. Goff, I think, is in play. Just the wins a little bit of a factor there. And then Mayfield also. I'm fading Allen just based on a shoulder injury and the blowout and the wind there. Jones, just not a good quarterback, and Minshew, it's just not a good matchup there either. For running back, Eckler, Walker, again, better play in FanDuel, I think, with not catching many balls. Barkley, I think, is healthy enough to consider there against Washington, and then Jacobs also against the Bears. And then in the medium range, Gibbs, Pacheco, Aaron Jones, if he is playing. And then I like Robinson from Washington quite a bit against the Giants there. Cheap, Foreman, Ford, Evans, or Freeman, if you want to try to figure out what's going to go on with the Rams situation. Just keep in mind Henderson's also in play there. And then Warren from Pittsburgh, I think if you need to take another shot at a cheap guy, but I think I'd stick with just the top two if you're paying down. The medium range is where you really want to be here on this slate. There's plenty of options at wide receiver that you want to invest in running back, I think, here. So B-Rod, Atlanta, I just don't like the role and the price tag. The potential's there. The Buffalo situation's a mess. White from Tampa Bay just doesn't seem to have it recently. And the Baltimore situation is just as bad as the Arizona and the Buffalo situation. Wide receivers, Kupp is obviously the top receiver. You can get to him, like Keenan Allen, St. Brown, and Diggs. Diggs, just remember they had the win there a little bit. St. Brown too, but it's not as should be as bad in that game. For 6K wide receivers, Nakua, Metcalf if he's in, Lockett, and Myers. And then in the 5-6K range, Brown, Flowers, Watson, Deontay Johnson, lots of really great plays here. That's why I think you want to really try to pay up for running back versus having to pay up for wide receiver. And then the sub 5K range, you have Palmer there, the number 2 in for the Chargers, Dubes, and then Washington's given up so much passing yardage that Wendell Robinson and Slayton are there, and then Samuel in the same game to against the Giants is a decent value. For tight end, Kelsey is obviously the best play there. Andrews is in play also, and Laporta. Those are the top 3. In the medium range, I don't really like this range as much today. Comment there. The Bears have to do something on offense, and he might be a nice safety valve for the young quarterback that's taken over for Fields, Waller, and Pitts. The cheap range is decent too. Thomas, Higbee, and Everett, but I love the sub 3K range here. Musgrove, Mayer, McBride. That's where I think I'm going to live. And even in GPPs, if you want to take 2 of the 3 of those, one in tight end and one in flex, it opens up so much more salary. You can do a ton of cool things in your lineups. For defense, Giants and Washington, Giants, especially on FanDuel, is super cheap. Both of them have upside against each other. If you want to pay up, Buffalo or the Raiders defense is where I'd look. If you want to take a punt, cheap defense, I think Kansas City or Baltimore are ones that have a little bit upside there. And Seattle and Denver are definitely play. I'm avoiding San Diego and New England. So you can see how we have the game stacks. We already talked about them. So let's look at the lineup builds and get you on your way for your Sunday. So in cash, I'm going to take Love, Gibbs, or Pacheco. This is not one of those ones where I put them both on line because I couldn't decide. So I put the other one in the second position. I'm not playing both of these guys in the same line. It's one or the other. And then decide where you want to pay up for how you want to do for your next running back. I think this all comes down to if you want to play Kelsey and tight end. I put Musgrave in for the cash one, but if you put him there, then that's going to change the rest of your lineup. But Palmer, and then I'm going to pair Watson and Musgrave. So I'm going to double stack with Love here. I really think that Denver's just giving up so much over the air. I really like these plays. I think they're solid for cash. And it definitely gives you a decent amount, whether you play Kelsey or not, to fill out the rest of your lineup with some of the other plays. So here, Giants defense. For FanDuel, Love, I'm going to take Foreman because he doesn't need to catch the ball. He's a better play on FanDuel here. And then give me Watson, Palmer. I can get a stud wide receiver in here if I do this build. Musgrave, and then the New York Giants defense. For GPP on DK, give me Mahomes. I'm going to take B-Rob from Washington and pair it with Washington defense. I'm going to throw Rice there. If you don't want to go Rice, there's tons of wide receiver options. That's fine. If you don't want to pair somebody, if you just want to go Mahomes and Kelsey, that's fine. If you want to throw Palmer in there around the same price range to run it back, that makes sense. Or go Allen to run it back, that makes sense also. But I'm going to take Slayton as the cheap wide receiver there. Wendell Robinson's also in play. Just for my build, I needed to go Slayton. I needed a couple extra $100 to make it work. And then on FanDuel, same thing, Mahomes, B-Rob with the Washington defense. Gonna go Lockett there, Slayton or Wendell Robinson. I had more flexibility there to be able to play either one, and Kelsey in the tight end. So I got for you. If you have any questions, you can put them in the chat below. Hit me up at MegaRuler31 on Twitter /X. Appreciate you watching. Make sure you check out the rest of the videos we'll have. We should have Monday Night Football and Thursday Night Football, and check out Twitter /X for NBA announcement this week. And with that coming back, so if you haven't subscribed to our channel, it's a great reason to do so. You'll know when our videos coming out because you can get the notifications, or if you just go into your feed, they will be there for you. So we appreciate you watching. If these videos help you, please help us back. You've already helped by watching this far into the video. Give us a like, subscribe to our channel, as I already said, and share with your friends. So thanks for watching. Hope you have an amazing weekend. Good luck in your contest, and we'll see you next time.